What unexpectedly turned you on? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share your own story in the comment section below. I remember I had a fight with my ex-girlfriend and we were saying nasty things to each other. I said something particularly nasty to her and she slapped the hell out of me. I realized I wasn't getting angrier because I noticed I had a raging boner in my pants, and that's how I found out I was a masochist. My friend asked if she could braid my hair once. She spent the whole time laughing at how tender-headed and how I would squirm when she thought she was pulling my hair. Joke's on her, I was actually hiding one of the most ferocious boners I've ever experienced. I love having my hair played with and head petted. Same, it's not necessarily a sex thing for me, though. I just like when people pet my head affectionately. One of my female friends used to do this to me randomly. One day, I blurted out "wrong head" and got a crotch grab. I learned my ears are almost as sensitive as my dick. The first time my ex licked my ear I was hard as diamonds. Found the PNG. He said diamonds, not gold-pressed platinum. One of my female friends got upset with me and shoved me up against a wall to scold me. Hot off. Once you get a taste of femdom, you can't go back. I want to be forced to have an orgasm that I don't want. It's me, your limp cousin. Usernames check out. I saw a woman lift a propane tank into the bed of her truck with one hand. That did it for me. Hi Hank Hill. I tell you what. Yee up. The sight of women putting their hair up, fussing with it, twisting it around, throwing a crappy rubber band thingy on it, all without needing to actually see a damn thing going on up, back there, then getting back to doing whatever, I could watch that all day. What about doing that in preparation for a BJ? Fantasized so hard my eyes rolled back into my skull. I was bored at work. While repairing some computers, I was swinging an Ethernet cable around, when it jerked around and slapped my back, quite hard. I just stood there for a moment, in pain, thinking holy speep, that feels amazing. I cut the connector off, spliced the cables out and made a short whip from it, and proceeded over the course of the day to beat myself raw on my back, arms, and legs. That's when I realized I liked some pain with my pleasure. My current girlfriend is too afraid of hurting me to be rough, even though I'm confident she'd be physically unable to do so if she tried. Ah, the good old Cat 509 tales. My GF being paged in the middle of the night and having to call the hospital to say some complex medical speak and save someone's life. I hate waking up, but damn it turns me on. I'm in medicine as well, but nothing turns me on more than complex medical speak. I first realized I like things a little rougher when my boyfriend put his hand around my neck because he wanted to see how far he could wrap his hand around it. Cheryl? No. Carol, Crystal, Chile. Outlaw country. Woo-oo. The stormtroopers. Something about not knowing who is wearing the suit gets me going. I was absolutely smashing an opponent's army in Warcraft 3. To this day I'm not sure why that turned me on. Domination of others. A few months ago I had a killer cough and starting coughing uncontrollably when my boyfriend were having sex. He came instantly. I tightened a lot around him and ever since then he gets a boner every time I cough. Peepin Pavlov. I lived in Oman about 10 years ago. The very sweet and good-humored secretary of our office was traditional and wore a face veil. For years I would drop a stupid joke on my way into the office because I knew she liked to laugh and it helped brighten the office a bit. The day after her divorce was granted, the veil disappeared for good. I walk into the office and see the smiling face behind all those laughs over the years. Boing. /r/repressed Genwild. History lectures. I had a professor in college who I already thought was pretty cute. But when she got lecturing, the smart woman hot part of my psyche got turned up to 11. Seeing my wife manage her staff is a fantastic turn-on. She's so capable and efficient and has great leadership qualities. She's a powerful woman and she's all mine. I'm jealous that you married a wizard. GF and I scuba dive. Her gear has a bunch of straps and buckles. Watching her get strapped into it makes me drool. It also does something really magical with her boobs. I've asked if I could do some sort of strap her down thing one day, but so far nothing. One day. Some quality silk rope and a good knowledge of knotwork will get you far, or off. I always get those two mixed up. A cute girl heel and towing while driving on a twisty mountain road. I miss you. My wife thinks I want her to know how to drive my car. In case of real reason is that I think it's crazy sexy to see her drive manual. Right now, everything, I'm mad, horny, happy, horny, the wind pounding my screen door up against the house, so horny. My husband is a trooper, though, never turns me down, even after 16 years, I do love to cosplay though. So all the different outfits and wigs help, I'm sure, undefined. That Darth Vader scene from Rogue One. I actually got goosebumps and a legit 3/4 chub from that, just the breathing and that slow saber ignition, HNNNGGGG. Oh good, I'm not the only one. My husband builds computers and he was talking to me about his new computer build. I found myself getting all hot and bothered by his nerd talk, so I had sex with a nerd. Looking back on it, I think I liked how passionate he was getting talking about his hobby. I like that. Are you certain you aren't just sexually attracted to computers? That depends. Do they have the voice of Scarlett Johansson? Heard my girlfriend's heart pounding while we were peeping. Drove me crazy. Now I listen all the time. One way to be certain you're not a necrophiliac. Knee-high socks. She could be wearing a skirt or shorts, but whatever color knee-high socks do it for me. Sorry for the TV tropes black hole link, but it describes it best. 5 toots and dear. When I get frustrated I'd arguing with someone, at work sometimes, etc. It's very confusing. I didn't realize until years after that was why I always got inexplicably horny during my calculus class. The masturbator. Cumculus. Hands, definitely hands. Whether it's a guys or girls, there's just something about thin, long fingers HNMMM. I'll be in my bunk. Imagine Wreck-It Ralph's hands. Hot. I saw a video of Ellen Page juggling and she suddenly became really hot. I'm avoiding clowns and circuses, just in case. I've always thought she was kinda hot anyway. I was sitting in a waiting room around 2 years ago and I was sitting next to this majestic plant. Something about it was just arousing. It turned out to be a ficus. Later that night, I masturbated to that ficus and came almost instantly. 2 years later now and I still get a chub thinking about that sexy ficus. What the peep? I'm terrified of flying but I don't want to let it hold me back, so I went on the first plane I'd been on in years since developing the phobia. I was peeping shaking, I was convinced the plane would crash and I felt so claustrophobic. Doesn't help I have an anxiety disorder too, but the air hostesses, they turned me on. Maybe because they were in charge and I felt safer, maybe the uniforms. Also at work I get slightly turned on when a female manager asks me to do something and they sound in charge. A friend's husband was putting some logs on a campfire and got smoke in his eyes. When he turned around, his eyes were a bit red and full of tears. I was a bit scared of myself for being aroused at the sight of a man crying. I didn't even find him attractive and it's not like I fantasize about men crying to get off, but I was definitely turned on seeing that. In my sophomore Spanish class, my friend sitting behind me leaned forward to whisper a question to me. Feeling his breath on my neck sent shivers all up and down my body. I had never been attracted to him before that moment, and wasn't even particularly after, but just then, innocent virgin me was ready to go. When I was a kid, I saw Mona Lisa from my grammar school art book. The first time I saw her, with her hands on her, do I say this, I had a boner. Yoshikage era. Damn it, I was hoping this hadn't been made or it had no reference. Expected to find this though. ASMR turns me on. I remember I first heard about it, so I looked it up while at work, immediately got goosebumps and rock hard. I quickly closed my browser. My old girlfriend was unable to sleep without listening to that, on speakers. It didn't do anything for me apart from creep me out. Wrestling. I wanted to try pet play in the role of the owner, instead the girl convinced me to be the pet. Turns out I really like being submissive. Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. I am a good boy. Username checks out, though I'm unsure at this point if that's a good thing. When females say they are horny and comfortable talking about it, it just gets me going every time. Every time, I'm horny turns to well, now that you mention it. Getting a shampoo at a salon gets me. I have this thing about my belly button, I absolutely hate it being touched. As a matter of fact, I would love to just not have a belly button at all, too little skin between my outer body and guts. It's weird, I don't even like touching it myself. It's been this way all my life. Cut to my current GF and probably future wife. After only knowing her for less than a month, I tell her about my belly button phobia, and we talk about it. She comforts me and says she'll respect my phobia. Past GFs never took this seriously. I find comfort in this and tell her she can try to touch it. She does, with the most gentle and soft finesse, does circles at and the outside of it. Then goes more in. Very softly. I quickly got the most intense erection I've had in a while, like morning wood level erection. It was confusing. She then proceeded to blow me, better than anyone has ever blown me. True love.